There is a truth that is difficult to accept, especially when the wound is still fresh. Sometimes the person who hurt you the most was also the person who woke you up. Not because they loved you properly, not because they treated you well, but because their behavior forced you to see something you had been avoiding for a very long time: yourself. Many people encounter narcissistic personalities during a period in their life when their spirit has grown quiet, when they have forgotten their power, when their boundaries have dissolved, when their self-worth has slowly been negotiated away. And it is in that vulnerable space that the narcissist appears, not as a blessing, but as a mirror. And that mirror can either break you or awaken you. Today, we are going to talk about the uncomfortable but transformative truth: how encountering a narcissistic personality can sometimes become the very catalyst that awakens your divine feminine energy. Before the awakening, many people who carry strong divine feminine energy live in a quiet state of self-abandonment. They are compassionate, they are understanding, they are also nurturing, but they are also tired. They have spent years prioritizing others over themselves, years silencing their intuition, years tolerating things that did not feel right. And slowly over time, their inner voice becomes softer. Not gone, just quiet. The divine feminine never truly disappears. She waits. She waits for the moment you remember her. And sometimes that remembering begins with discomfort. So why are narcissists drawn to unawakened empaths? We must understand narcissistic personalities often seek individuals who are deeply empathetic, people who are willing to understand, people who are willing to forgive, and people who are willing to see potential. And when someone with dormant divine feminine energy encounters a narcissist, there is often an intense dynamic. The empath tries to nurture. Narcissist tries to control. The empath tries to understand, and the narcissist tries to dominate. And at first, the empath believes they are simply loving harder, trying harder, giving more. But eventually something happens. The giving becomes draining, the understanding becomes exhausting, and the love becomes painful. And that is when the awakening begins. Some may say, well, where's the moment of realization? We must understand there comes a moment when your spirit speaks louder than your conditioning. A moment when your intuition becomes impossible to ignore. You begin to notice patterns, the manipulation, the gaslighting, the emotional instability. You start asking yourself questions you once avoided. Why do I feel smaller in this relationship? Why am I constantly explaining myself? Why do I feel anxious instead of safe? And the divine feminine begins to rise, not with anger, but with clarity. You see, the awakening is rarely comfortable, because once you see clearly, you cannot unsee. You begin to recognize where you ignored your own intuition, where you allowed your boundaries to collapse, where you gave love in spaces that could not hold it. And there may be grief. Not just grief for the relationship, but grief for the version of yourself that tolerated it. But within that grief, something powerful is happening. You are remembering yourself. Once the divine feminine awakens, everything begins to change. You start setting boundaries. You stop explaining your worth. you stop chasing closure. You begin protecting your energy, and you begin trusting your intuition again. The same empathy you once gave away freely now becomes discernment. The same softness that once made you vulnerable now becomes wisdom. You are still loving, but now you are also aware. Purpose of the awakening is not to glorify the narcissist. It is to understand the transformation that followed. Sometimes life introduces people who expose what we have ignored. They reveal the areas where we must grow, the areas where we must heal, the areas where we must reclaim our power. The narcissist did not create your strength, but their presence forced you to discover it. Once your divine feminine energy is awake, your standards change. Your relationships change. Your tolerance for manipulation disappears. You no longer confuse chaos with passion. You no longer confuse attention with love. You begin choosing peace, choosing alignment, choosing environments where your energy is respected. And in that space, your true power returns. We must understand sometimes the most painful encounters in life become the doorway to your awakening. Not because the pain was necessary, but because the experience revealed something you could no longer ignore: your worth, your intuition, your power. And when the divine feminine remembers who she is, she does not seek revenge. She simply rises.